Hi and welcome to At Home with May. Today what we're going to be doing is cottage cheese. Have you ever made homemade cottage cheese? Well, if you've got any milk that's the due date that is expiring like mine is expiring today, so we're going to make cottage cheese. Cottage cheese is so simple. Have you gone to the supermarket and you try to buy cottage cheese and they're always sold out, or they only have low fat? And I want full cream. And then when you get the cheese, what happens when you open it? It's just too watery. And I want mine to be dry. You've either got to take that watery cottage cheese and you've got to pour the liquid out. I have this love and hate relationship with cottage cheese. So when I use bought cottage cheese, I promise you it always fails. Maybe 1 out of 10, but the rest are all flops, and I just like, no, not doing this anymore. So I make my own cottage cheese. It's so simple to make, and when you make cottage cheese, you can be the one to make either dry cottage cheese, and then you can mix some Greek yogurt with some cream to make it nice and creamy. So you can make your own creamy cottage cheese to your liking, not what you buy in the stores. The ones in the stores, hopeless. So let's get started on our cottage cheese. You need your milk. I've got 3 liters. So mine is filled nearly right to the top. So what's going to happen now is you put it on the stove, and we're going to put it on medium heat. We're not going to boil this. This is the secret. You do not want to overboil it. So we want to bring it to a simmer where there's going to be bubbles forming on around the edges, just steaming. I've got me a little thermometer, so cheap. I think I paid $7. And what I'm going to do is bring it to about 82 to 90 Celsius. Then I'm taking it off. That's when you need to stop, and that's when our next step is. On this step with the milk, you'll find that some people actually add their salt to the milk, where I'm not doing that. So I'm going to put this onto the stove. Heat the milk slowly until it's steaming with tiny little bubbles along the edges. So you have to keep a close eye. Do not boil. Do not overheat it. This is very important. And if you don't have a thermometer, just remember about the bubbles on the side, and when it starts steaming, that is your indicator to take it off the heat, and that's where you stop completely for the next step. So I'll let mine go to 86.5, so we're going to stop here. You can see the bubbles that have formed around the edges, and you can see the steam. Next, I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of white vinegar. Then I'm going to give about a couple of stirs, just gently. This is where you're going to see the curds and whey are going to separate. You can already see it separating. I'm going to leave this for 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to put the pot's lid, and we're going to leave that alone. It's time for us to check our curds. Oh, look at that. So I just want to show you. Look how it has separated. That looks beautiful. Just look at that. So what I'm going to do next is we are going to scoop out our curds from the whey, and then we place it into the bowl with our cheesecloth. This cheesecloth is a lifesaver. The reason why I'm scooping it out is because you don't want to dump the whole pot with the cottage cheese, is because you do not want to break it apart. You want to keep those curds together. Now I will go in and pour and catch the little bit of curds that we have. And we don't want to waste any of the whey coming away from the cottage cheese. Just keeping a close eye on the bowl underneath because I don't want it to overflow. So I just want to lift that up. As you can see, this is the whey. So we'll carry on straining the leftovers. I still got some curd in this milk. Pull it all out. I'm just going to bring it all together like that. Just look at that whey just running out of our cottage cheese. Okay, I'm going to put that aside. The next part is to rinse our cottage cheese. So I've just opened up my filtered water tap. We do not want the curds to cook any further. And also because I've used vinegar, and if you use lemon juice, we want to wash it and rinse away the flavor of vinegar or lemon juice. We don't want to squeeze it too hard because we don't want to break our curds. We want to gently squeeze it and get as much of that whey liquid out of our cottage cheese. I'm going to open this up. So I'm going to let the water run down into the zinc. I just want to show you, just look how amazing that looks. Homemade cottage cheese. But that's not the end. I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. I'm going to be making some homemade balsam cheese. I'm just going to take a little bit of my cottage cheese that I've already made, just like so, and then put that aside. And then what I'm going to do with the cottage cheese, because there's still liquid in here, I'm actually going to put something heavy on it so it can squeeze out the leftover whey. So I'm going to be using one of my dishes in the cupboard. So I'm going to put this aside and carry on with our cheese. Okay, so how we do this balsam cheese is that we're going to be adding a little bit of cream, say about 1.5 tablespoons of cream. I want that cream, yeah, go out. Then I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of Greek yogurt. In it goes there. The next step, we're just going to season this a little bit. I'm just going to add a little bit of onion powder. I'm going to use chives. You can use whatever you want, some chives. And then a little bit of garlic powder. You just add as much as that you want for this. And a little bit of black pepper, just a little bit. And then finally salt. So I'm going to use a big pinch of salt. I love these blend sticks. They are so handy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to blend this all together. If you taste that balsam cheese, it is so delicious. So now I'm just gonna, so get yourself some cling wrap. You can put it into a container, but I want to keep it round like you buy in the stores. So I'm going to put it onto the cling wrap. Then I'm just going to fold it over into a ball. Let's hope I can do that. I'm going to put it into the fridge and let that sit. This is the fun part, you know, where you can make things out of cottage cheese. So this is quite heavy, so I'm going to be using this bowl as well. Just want to clean it. Just want to bring as much of that whey out of the cottage cheese. Now I don't like my cottage cheese being too wet, because when you need to make chaffles or anything regards to baking and it needs to be dry, and when you buy the store-bought, it's always so wet, and then you've got to wring it out and it's in, I don't know, there's just something wrong with the store-bought. I just cannot work with it. Homemade is the best because I control the curds that I want, so I like them to be dry. And if I'm putting cream and Greek yogurt, then I measure to the consistency that I like. I'm going to put that into the bowl. If you know how messy I am in the kitchen, I'm always cleaning after myself. I'm just using this. I just want to show you how amazing that looks. That is your cottage cheese and it's dry. And now this is the part where you do not forget to put your salt. I'm not going to put too much because I don't want it too salty, because you can always add if you're doing your cooking. I'm just going to add a little bit. So you can taste them, and it's better to add a little than add too much and then you can't take it out. And it's really dry. I love it like this. And so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of cream, very little bit. Oops. And about a tablespoon of Greek yogurt. And the reason why I add these two is that the Greek yogurt helps the cream to stick to our curds. I'm just going to mix that. I promise you, from homemade to bought, once you've tried homemade, you'll never go back to store-bought. It's absolutely delicious. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a smoothie. So I got my jar. So here I'm not measuring again. I'm just going to put in. So this is like my protein smoothie, that if I want to make it. There we go. I'm really messy in the kitchen, sorry people. And how I like to do my protein mix is you add your cottage cheese that you've made, and then I go in with one of my probiotics, and this has delicious flavor of lots of fruit. Absolutely delicious. Then I'll go in with some mixed berries. I've got frozen. I am going to add some maple syrup. And some milk, not too much. And I'm going to use the same whisk that I did the cheese. Now look at this. Look at our own homemade protein smoothie. Wow. It's to die for. I'm telling you, it is amazing. Please, people, go and try and make these homemade recipes that I'm showing you. Delicious. My life has changed by the way that I'm eating. I love sharing these recipes because these are my lifesavers, because what happens is I'm eating healthy, high proteins, high fats, and then it keeps this weight at bay. I can maintain my weight. The foods are absolutely delicious. It's simple to make, like the cottage cheese. Heating up the milk was a bit tedious, where you've got to just let it do its thing, simmer very slowly, and you just get these amazing products that you have made yourself, not store-bought. And who knew you could make from milk to cottage cheese, and from cottage cheese you make all these beautiful dishes. And look, our cottage cheese, I'm going to put it into the bowl because I'm going to be making chaffles. Because I've used basically all my cottage cheese already, I'm going to have to do about 10 to 12 liters of milk just to give me enough cottage cheese to use through the week. And look at that. That is absolutely amazing. You cannot go wrong. So I'm telling you, once you try homemade, you won't go back. And our beautiful Boston cheese that we made. I absolutely wish I had a cracker now. And you take your cheese, you put your cracker and you lift it up and just put it into your mouth, and I'm telling you, the flavors. This is where you can get creative with designing your own cheese to the flavors of any of your seasoning that you enjoy. Absolutely amazing. And you'll see that I eat lots of high proteins and fats. This is what has kept my weight at bay. So please give me a thumbs up, subscribe and follow, and share with anybody that you know that needs this and to try it. Thanks for watching, and I will be putting more videos out there.